Hi, I'm Radiance. Join me on a journey to bring you enticing recipes where every video is a celebration of deliciousness, creativity, simplicity, and foodie inspiration. Today I'm going to be making something that honestly took me a little while to get used to and get together, and that's tofu scramble. When I first started on my plant-based journey, and eating healthier, I was trying to find ways to make things that I was familiar, but in a healthier way, and try different things out. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you and keep it real. Tofu is not one of my favorite things. But the interesting thing is, a true fact about me is the first time I ever tried anything that was vegan, before I ever started making it myself, was at a little cafe not too far from a place I used to work. I was on a break and I went to this little cafe and they had like this little, for lunchtime, this little hot bar, and they had barbecue tofu. And I tasted it and it was okay. And over the years I tried different things, but tofu still wasn't something that I absolutely loved. And I found different ways to make it. And that's the tip I give you. Find things you love and then transform those things. I have several things on my list that I wasn't a fan of until I started making it my way in the ways I love. So with that being said, tofu is one of them. And tofu is, what I've learned about tofu is that tofu is one of those things that is a good receiver of flavor. So in other words, whatever flavor palette you add to it is the flavor it's going to get and what it's going to taste like. So what I'm making today is a tofu scramble. This is something that I like to have sometimes a breakfast or a brunch. It is light to me, it is hearty, and I pair it with different things. So let me show you how I do it. So this is tofu. This is a firm tofu. Let me actually drain it a bit. Now, I've seen it so many times where it's recommended that you know, press tofu, you take it and you put it between two heavy pans or a cast iron pan. Honestly, I'm not a fan of that. Now, can you do that? Yes, absolutely. You can do that. They say press it for 15, 20 minutes, let it sit, you know, wrap it in paper towel, but it ends up being a soggy mess, and sometimes I just don't have the patience or time for that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually squeezing out the tofu, squeezing it, squeezing it out. You can actually use like a sieve or a strainer for this, but I'm actually I have a little trick. Instead of pressing the whole block, I'm going to take the tofu that I want to use, and I'm going to press this out. See? Just pressing it out. And I'm actually going to turn on my little heater while I have a moment. I'm going to let that heat up, and I'm going to continue pressing. So I'm going to take it up, and what you do is you press it, and I'm doing two things. You can press and break it up at the same time, but see, I'm pressing it between my palms, and this is a way for you to get out some of that liquid without, once again, having to necessarily wait a whole 15 minutes or longer. You have to deal with messy paper towel and all that stuff. At least in this case, for this recipe, you don't need to do that. So here we go. Pressing it out. You see, I'm almost done. I literally have almost the whole block pressed. Now, some tofu may fall, and if it falls, you just pick it out. That's what I'm using a bowl. And see, this is it. This is the last of my tofu. Pressing it out, and it does hold a lot of liquid, a lot of water. And I do have some bits in here that fell. Just press that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually spray my pan. You can use an oil. I like to use grapeseed oil and avocado oil, but in a pinch, when I don't have those things on hand, I'll also use like a coconut oil spray. Avocado oil also comes in a spray version if you can find it. You can also use olive oil. Give it a good coating. All right. And while that heats up, you're going to get your herbs and seasonings together. I put a medley of seasonings in here. This is onion powder, garlic powder, and turmeric. I put a little adobo chili powder in here. I also use paprika. Regular paprika is fine. If you want to do smoked, use it, but know it's going to give your scramble a smoky flavor. Ooh, that's sizzling, so that means it's ready. All right. So move this aside so I can show you. All right. First thing you're going to do is we're going to crumble in your tofu. Just crumble it in. Now, this is already crumbled. I'm going to take it up. Crumble some more. You can also mash this up in your pan as well. And you break it up. Now, what I like to do is put in my herbs and seasonings and just toss it in there and coat your scramble. Coat it. Mix it up some more. You see that? See how it's coated? The turmeric is healthy, but it also gives it some color. That like up a scrambled egg. You put this back on here. You continue to break it up as much as you'd like, while the seasonings are also coating your tofu. Now there's 2 more things I'm going to add to this. I'm going to add a little bit of liquid to it. I like to use two different versions of milk. You can use the unsweetened coconut milk. This time I'm going to use the unsweetened cashew macadamia nut milk. I'm going to eye it, but let me give you the measurements where the recipe is listed in the link below. You just put in a little bit. You can eye it. It's going to start to sizzle a little bit. That's also going to help to moisten it up a little bit and also help you to continue to incorporate the seasonings in. As I continue to cook up, it doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. I'm going to turn this down a bit. And I'm actually going to make something to go with this that's really quick, something that I love while that's going. And that's what I call like an avocado mash slash my guac, my former guac. And it's something that I love. So just take some avocados. This is very, very soft. This is on the firmer side, so I'm actually going to use both. Cut the avocado. Let's see what it's looking like. It's definitely right. Take the seed. And carve this out. Sometimes you can just squeeze it. It goes right in your bowl. There you go. Or you can scrape it down with your knife. Or a spoon you can have it. Oh, this is very soft. This is super, super ripe. So this should have no problem coming out. I'm actually going to take my fork. I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to just scoop it out. I'm also going to use this fork to mash this, by the way. So it comes in handy to use a fork for all of this, and then finally the other half of the avocado. That was a little faster. I like to use fresh cilantro. Fresh cilantro. And I have it in a bowl. Put a little bit of lime. Just squeeze. That's lime juice. But you can use fresh lime. I prefer fresh lime, but I just happen to have some lime juice to the side. And then from my big container, I'm going to take some out. I'm going to put in a little bit of onion powder, or a lot. I prefer to use onion powder because I'm not a fan of raw onions. But Sometimes it's just easier that way. So I'm gonna mash this up. 1 second, let's give this a stir. So this is actually browning. So I'm gonna turn this off. That is like nice and, you see that? Now I'm gonna mash this up. You take it, and you just mash it, just like that. You can use a potato masher if you want, but the fork is just fine. There you go. You just mash. Mash it up, as them say. Mash, mash, mash. Give it a little twist. And that's it. That's it. Now, the final ingredient I'm going to add to the scramble is something that I'm new to, but has also changed how I look at egg flavor in my plant-based cooking. And this is what they call black salt. You can get it in an Asian market or online, which is where I got it. I'm actually cut this open. And you don't need a whole lot. Make sure I'm cutting this right. There we go. You add a little bit, just a little, do a little, well, I'll put it in my hand first, because a lot came out. This is a bit powdery. So you want to sprinkle a little bit in. There you go. And it has sulfur in it, which is what gives it that eggy taste. But don't worry, that will go away. We'll just leave the taste. You mix it in. All right. I'm going to plate this now. So I'm going to put in a little bit on my plate. Some of this mash. If you don't like cilantro, you can leave it out, but you can also pulverize it or chiffonade or chop it up a bit smaller if you don't want it to be chunky, because I definitely like the chunky. I'm going to add something that I cooked earlier in the week, some plantains, because I love my fried plantains. And honestly, I like any excuse to eat plantains. Plantains and avocados are two of my favorite foods in the world. All right, and here we go. Look at that. Tofu scramble, a little bit of avocado mash slash my form of guacamole, and some fried plantain. Let's give it a taste. Let's try the tofu scramble. Wow, that's so good. And that black salt definitely gave it like an eggy taste. No, I like my tofu scramble on the firmer side. Like I like when I ate eggs, when I used to eat eggs, I like it the same way. If you want it softer, you don't have to cook it as much. You could add a little bit more liquid if you want it to be a little bit more wet. So some of that, some of this guac, piece of plantain. I'm all set for a nice brunch. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you made any of this, comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you've added anything different. Maybe you've made like a southwestern, maybe another type of tofu scramble. You know, by adding some beans or adding something else to it. Let me know what you're thinking. What maybe have you done to your tofu scramble? And also, if you want the measurements and access to more recipes, subscribe to this channel and also click on the link below and join my free VIP group. All right? So thank you so much for joining me, and you have an awesome day. Enjoy.